Hey everyone, welcome to Plants and Politics. So, really kind of gross story. An oncology nurse posted a video on TikTok, I believe it was on Friday of last week, bragging about how she doesn't wear a mask when she's out in public. In the video, she also lip synced a scene from How the Grinch Stole Christmas, and she included a caption which read, quote, "When my coworkers find out I still travel, don't wear a mask when I'm out, and let my kids have play dates." So her post has now been deleted, and the hospital where she works, which is Salem Health in the state of Oregon, has placed her on administrative leave. I have a lot to say about this selfish piece of shit. And yes, I'm calling her a piece of shit because this woman is literally caring for people who have the most compromised immune systems on earth as an oncology nurse. I take this personally. I lost my mom to cancer just 2 years ago. And if I found out that a nurse who was supposedly helping her was flaunting health guidelines and placing my mom at added risk because she was a spoiled, petulant child who was too immature to act responsibly and actually give a damn about the needs of others, the last thing this woman would have to worry about is losing her job. And I would probably be in jail. But guess what? She's on paid leave. So this abhorrent, self-centered moron is being paid to stay home while millions of Americans would gladly wear a mask to go to work if they could find a job. If they could get a job so they could afford to feed their children and pay their rent or their mortgage so they wouldn't be on the verge of being homeless, they would gladly put on a mask. And according to the hospital, they're not even investigating her actions. According to their public statement, they're investigating who else she may have come into contact with, which sounds like they have no intention of firing her. So I don't know if that's true or if this is just what they're saying right now. I'll get to why I say that in a moment. But why does she deserve a paycheck? And even if let's say we give this idiot the benefit of the doubt and say, oh, she was just kidding. She was just making a joke. Even still, she should be fired and she should lose her nursing license. She shouldn't be allowed to be hired at another hospital or to work with any kind of patients where she can infect people or at the very least show a lack of compassion for gravely ill patients. Because even if this was a joke, it was completely irresponsible. It was callous. It shows a complete lack of empathy, not only for her cancer patients, but for people who are suffering with COVID right now and all of the families who've lost their loved ones to COVID. I'm sorry. I mean, I kind of thought that empathy was a prerequisite for being a nurse. Don't you actually have to give a damn about people to be a good nurse? She obviously doesn't. And I also question, how did this woman become a nurse to begin with? I almost wonder if somebody took her test for her because you have to be somewhat intelligent to become a nurse, something that this woman is clearly not. And my other thought is, how many others are out there doing the same thing, acting the same way? We now know that approximately 75 million Americans voted for the grifter in chief who has from day one downplayed the virus and refused to enact a national mask mandate. So we have to assume that a certain percentage of that 75 million work in the healthcare industry. And they're allowing these insane conspiracy theories to influence and direct their behavior, even though they literally have the health and lives of others in their hands. My other thought was, is it legal to fire her? What legal right does the hospital have to fire her for what she does when she's off duty? Perhaps that's what they're looking into. I don't know. Maybe they're taking this time right now while she's on paid leave to get the opinion of an attorney on how likely it is that she could countersue and win? I mean, would they be denying her her First Amendment right to free speech? Would they be infringing upon her liberty? You know what would have really helped right now, and what would have helped this hospital to hold her accountable and not have to worry about this, is if the child in chief had actually established a national mask mandate. Because then the hospital could have said, look, we're abiding by the national mask mandate. This is not our rule. This is the country's rule and law. And, we have to keep our patients safe. Because, of course, they can't police all of their employees. They can only require that they wear a mask when they're on site. My final thought was, if one of her oncology patients contracted COVID while under her care, could she be held liable for that? Could she be sued for manslaughter or something like that? So I don't know. If there's any attorneys out there, comment below the video. I'd like to get your feedback. But yeah, if I was the family of one of the patients under her care, and I found out that she was doing this and placing my family member at greater risk, at increased risk, just because she's a selfish piece of shit, I would file a lawsuit. Because even if they don't contract COVID, or even if they're asymptomatic, it places their already fragile immune system under greater strain. Just like if you're exposed to someone with a cold or the flu, you may not get it. You may not get full-blown cold or full-blown flu and have all of the symptoms, but your body still has to fight it. Your body still mounts a defense. Your immune system still launches into action and creates antibodies and tries to protect you. So it doesn't have all of its resources. It's like if you had an army and half of that army was off fighting a war. The other half of your army is all you have left to fight anything else that comes your way. So when your body is already fighting cancer, almost all of your troops are working on that. They don't have the resources. Your body doesn't have the ability, or it's very strained to try to fight off something additional. And it just makes it more likely that you will succumb to the cancer, that your body is just spent. It has nothing left to fight with. I really hope there's some very, very serious repercussions and consequences for this woman, because she is, as I said, a selfish piece of shit. Selfish, immature piece of shit. So if I hear anything more on this front, I'll let you guys know. As always, like, share, subscribe. Thanks for watching and listening. I'll talk with you soon. Take care. Thanks for listening to Plants and Politics. The only way we can take our country and power back is to spread the truth and build an army. So remember to like, follow, subscribe, and share on Facebook, YouTube, and wherever you listen to your podcasts. Thanks again.